All right, story number four. I missed this last week. 50 Cent's been doing a couple of interviews. He was on The Breakfast Club for about an hour and change. He was on Hot 97 on Ebro, Rosenberg, Laura Stiles, about an hour there as well. He has a Vegas residency that's starting December 27th. And obviously he has his new studio in Shreveport, which we've talked about quite a bit. But I love 50 Cent interviews. One second applause for 50 Cent interviews. I love 50 Cent interviews. I just do. I think he always finds like new nuggets of insight. And this one is particularly good. So the conversation starts off with how he had an offer to sign to DJ Clue. And he was like, I'm never going to sign to DJ Clue. Let's take a look.
It's better for me because I'm like, I don't want to do business. Like, I've had meetings even with Clue and them. At the time, they had Desert Storm. And they was like, yo, we went to sit down and do the meeting. And I was never going to sign to DJ Clue. You kidding me? Like, they started the conversation off like, yo, we talked to the Wolves. They was like, yo, you thought you tried to hit him in the gas station or whatever, but then he realized that didn't be this. Blah, 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 blah. And he's saying, yeah. So we went on into the meeting and the conversation was there.
This part is funny. What he's saying is he sat down with DJ Clue, and Clue and them were like, yeah, we talked to the Wolves. You know what I'm saying? We talked to the people who really have the influence, right? We talked to the Wolves, and they said that, you know, this could be a good situation. Listen to what 50 Cent says here.
That's who's talking at that point. So I'm listening to him, but rewind, bro. We started this conversation. You said you went for permission?
You went for permission.
You want me to go under you and you asking permission? Well, I'm not listening to nobody.
He said, you want me to go under you and you had to go for permission? 1 second applause for 50 Cent.
You see, I do better when I listen to me.
Well, and then you factor in what we know of your story now, of where you came from, what you had to deal with to craft the path that you made for yourself, right? Because all along the way of all the stories that
I had mad deal offers before. Right. Universal, Duvalier, Dino. Right. He offered us $1.3 million for me to do my solo album and the G-Unit album. And I'm like, yeah, he didn't understand why I wasn't taking the deals. But I'm looking at it and I'm going, nah. He's like, what? He said 1.3. It's like having a lotto ticket and nobody wants to turn it in. Mm-hmm. So you get the money to he's like, what? That's a lot, bro. You sure? That's not it. But then you see Irv saying he was blocking me all over the place, right? If I signed to the Universal system while they was a priority at Def Jam, what you think they would have did to me?
Of course. Yeah.
Right. This is what I'm saying, right? I mean, 50 is so cunning in how he thinks about all of his business situations. I love this. So he is saying that he didn't want to sign to the Universal system while Irv Gotti had so much influence, right? Irv Gotti had Ashanti, he had Ja Rule. Def Jam's part of Universal. And so Irv Gotti was saying that 50 just quoted saying that Irv was trying to block him everywhere. So if he signs to another label in the Universal system, he was going to get shelved. He knew that. 1 second applause. So he decided not to do it.
I can see that.
Right. So this is why I didn't do that deal. And I sat there. I'm understanding that.
Right. And then things work out. You get you and Marshall linked, the Dre. You and Marshall linked.
Yeah.
And then the Dre thing, right?
Yeah. Because what happened,
order.
well, yeah, me and M was really why I made it to L.A. Then when we talked, he brought the Dre angle into it, and it was like, from there, it was like, I didn't even want to say anything because I didn't want them to be a part of the problem. Mm. Right? And then it took for Josh, he said something about Haley in the record because they had got high before together.
So he didn't want to mention the conflict he had with Ja Rule, Irv Gotti, to Dre, to M. He didn't want them to become a part of that problem. And Ja Rule in the record says something about Haley. So 50 was keeping that away from M and Dre. From all aftermath, he was keeping that at a distance. But Ja Rule get out there and start talking too much, and this is what happens.
Right, and then it took for Josh, he said something about Haley in the record because they had got high before together. And he thought they had some sort of bonding moment or some shit like that.
John M?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, what? I don't even know why he would say something like that. Like, and I'm like, he left. It was like a Friday. It was in Detroit recording. He went home when we was done recording, and we didn't leave. We came back Monday. We had a full CD, automatic gunfire.
1 second applause.
The whole tape was done. We really didn't go back to the hotel. He left to go home that evening, and then we stayed until Monday when he got back. It was like, yo, like, I play something for you. After he did that, then it was like a license for me to just jump on him. I'm going to go in that direction. Cool, don't worry about that. I'll get this one.
And M had an appreciation for that.
He was like, he was still dealing with the thought of why you would say that.
Right, and you'd already jumped, and you were like striking back.
No,
Don't even worry about it.
I didn't say nothing about it. I did a whole CD last week while he was gone.
So you at that point realized, with all the different people you'd met with, this one, if played the right way, will be exactly what I need.
Yes.
Removed enough from all the bullshit. This could be the play.
Yeah, and don't not attribute me selling 13 million records to M selling 23 million records on the Marshall Mathers LP.
Yo, I mean, I love that tidbit right there. He said that M was confused because Josh said something about Haley on the record. Why would he do that? I don't understand. I don't know, man. Have a good weekend. M, blue collar Eminem, getting up, going to record, goes home for the weekends, come back in. 50 and the crew had a whole project ready to go. Straight aimed at Ja Rule, Murder Inc. and these guys. Well, second applause to that. I love that part of this conversation. It was really good. Now, there's another part in here where he talks about how he knows what it's like to go at a lot of different people at the same time. And he commiserates with Drake on that point. So here's a part of the conversation where they talk about the battle.
For established artists, you can't just release a project and just wait for it to work. You could do that in the beginning. It's organically happening, and it'll just grow. You'll see the streams go up and things happen. And what happens is, because that's the process, even the record company is conditioned to catch up to the record, like see it moving and start supporting it because they see that instead of knowing exactly what. Like right now, Drake has to know exactly what he wants to go up and support it. I wouldn't even look at the label to do it. I put the additional support behind it because it's how much is he getting per show. Mm-hmm. Support the record at radio is not a difficult thing for him. You know,
especially for him. If most everything ends up getting.
That's what I'm saying. I would do it.
Right.
When I know that this is the record I need to, and right now, I would do it myself.
Do you think you watched the battle between them? You was paying attention.
Yeah,
it was entertaining for you as a rap fan.
It was good for the culture, bro. I mean, both of them produced material that's up to standard faster. At first, I had Kendrick not even in it because it was like boom, boom. He hit 2-3 times, and I ain't seen nothing coming from Kendrick. And then it was like Kendrick was making a CD instead of a response.
Well, you thought it was too much at first. You were like, why is he dropping so much?
He was saying Drake was going so hard, Kendrick was nowhere to be found.
But Drake is.
Drake was going hard.
I felt those feelings before. What Drake was going through. Like everybody got to get it. You know what I'm saying? You see me do that.
Yeah.
And that's why the spinner made it into his, because he heard that.
Right.
At that point.
With the Who Kids stamp on the front of the song and all that shit.
That's how I made it to that. And then it's like, what about J. Cole, man?
1 second applause to 50. What about J. Cole, man? I mean, you know, I definitely feel like push-ups and Family Matters, less effectively Family Matters, but push-ups, just an incredible way to spray a whole cipher full of rappers. You know what I mean? You know, and that is something 50 Cent had no problem doing. He had no problem doing it. He would call out everybody. Nas, Jadakiss, Fat Joe, it didn't matter. Everybody in New York, 50 was New York City's bad guy. New York City's bad guy. And he let everybody get it. Everybody get it. You know, I appreciated that tidbit there about that's why the G-Unit Spinner's in there. Because they do have similar temperaments to some degree. From a distance, it looks that way, Drake and 50 Cent.
Well, you know,
no, what happened? What happened to him?
He didn't want to be a part of it.
He said he didn't want, that's not who he was.
I know.
Now.
No.
You're such a piece of shit. I know exactly where you're going to go. No, stop. Don't even.
What you was going to say?
I didn't say anything. Don't ban me. So you want to send me to...
Don't ban me.
You want to send me to China? You want to send me to China? I'm not talking about you. I'm not doing that. I don't say anything about people. I stay out of politics.
He just let. So what happened with J. Cole?
So how about that? I'm just saying to you the culture, the competitive nature of it.
So do you think that someone can be, because we defended J. Cole because frankly it wasn't in him to do it, and he made the decision.
And he took ownership. He didn't run from it. He took ownership of it. He was like, yo, he said I made a whack move. He even apologized, and he dipped out. Now, the only problem I have was recently he just put out a song, I don't know if you heard it, called Port Antonio, where he said, I would have won the battle, but I would have lost the brother. And we was like,
yeah, we didn't agree with that. That wasn't a great move.
You can't say that. You can't come out and say I would have won.
Do you think you're disqualified? Is he disqualified from being in the greats conversation?
Wait a minute. You just said feelings were valid, guys. You just said his feelings were valid.
They are.
And this is why when he stopped, it's because he felt like he could lose a brother.
That's
but
right.
he would have won the battle. Now, we did think, I was looking for J. Cole. Like, I'm like, let me see what he's going to do. And that
J. Cole's nice.
Yes.
Dead nice.
Yes. And then when I go, oh, no. Why did you do that? I wanted to call him and tell him, don't do that. No.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Fifth. You know, I honestly, you know, the more time that passes, the more pressure ends up being on the fall off. This album for J. Cole's gotta be crazy. So, but this is, I thought those two moments from this conversation were really interesting. I'm going to actually, there's another great moment in there where he describes how to make a hit record. And he also talks about the connection between Nelly's It's Getting Hot in Here to his On Fire. And so, you know, 50 is just one of those guys I love to hear speak. I love his perspective on things. And I love how he keeps the jokes going. So what happened to J. Cole? 1 second applause. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.